say the first people that influenced his life were his parents, because they made sure he went to Catholic grade school, they made sure he went to Catholic high school. They supported him in all of his endeavors when he was at grade school and high school. And then he always talked about Sister Gail, and she was his math teacher. And she would tell him, Al, you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years, so you've got to learn all of this. And he'd say, oh, Sister Gail, do I have to? I don't like math. And he ended up being a math teacher with Mr. Barrett. And I still remember him telling me that Mr. Barrett pulled him aside one time and said, look, Al, you've got to get through high school if you want to go on and go to college. And he settled him down, and he made the honor roll, did very well. And until the day Al passed, Mr. Barrett and him were very good friends. And Al would not forgive me if I didn't mention Joe Krivak. And he was a tough football coach, and Al will talk about that with everybody, that he expected those young men, to be good football players, good men at school, and to be good Catholics. And as they got older, Al became friends with Mr. Krivak also. And one day he was in the booth during the broadcasting with Mike, and they interviewed him at halftime. Well, Mr. Krivak decided he would stay on because he knew football. And Mike leaned back and said to Al, he whispered behind Mr. Krivak's back, we're done. Should you tell him to go? And Al said, I'm not telling Mr. Krivak to leave. Mike says, I'm not. He goes, okay, he'll be with us till the end of the game. He was excited when he was selected to play in the 1969 OVAC championship game. And he really enjoyed that because football was one of his passions that he really liked. I would also say Father Doobie came in, and he was a big influence because they were all around the same age, him and Father Doobie and Rebecca's dad, Mike Guerin. And they were all sports fanatics, and they would go to all the Madonna games, and they would go to the Weir High games and the Junior Don games, and they really enjoyed that. And I think that also became a common bond, which was one of the reasons why Father Doobie and Al and Mike started the process in working toward building the Doobie Dome. And that was one of the things that I think all three of them are most proud of, that was done. He loved being a coach. And he was a coach at Madonna for their baseball team. He helped with the football. He would help with basketball if there was a need. He was also the coach of the little Junior Dons, which would also feed into the high school. And that was something that was very important to Al. He always wanted to see our grade school feed into the high school. What he always liked was, no matter when he did this, he would be representing St. Joe's, Madonna, and his Catholic faith. And that's just the way Al felt about sports. Even though he liked the USC Trojans, he was a sports guy through and through. And probably the thing he misses most about the athletics is not broadcasting with Mike.
One of the few times they actually didn't broadcast together was the 2004 state semifinals for football. My dad went down to Bluefield, West Virginia to cover the Weir High and Bluefield state semifinal game, and Uncle Al went off to Williamstown to cover the Madonna Williamstown semifinal game. And Weir High had been winning the entire game. They got down to the last maybe 2.5 minutes. Everyone was already starting to celebrate in Bluefield. We're going to the island. We're going to the island. And just as my dad had said that on the air, Weir High took a turn for the worse, we'll go ahead and say, and they ended up actually losing that game, and they didn't get to play for the state championship that week. Meanwhile, up in Williamstown, right around that same time, probably about 2.5, 3 minutes left to go in the Madonna game, Madonna more or less kind of came back and stormed Williamstown. And Williamstown ended up taking a turn for the worst. Madonna ends up coming back and winning that football game, and they get to go to the island the following week. So then at that point, my dad and Uncle Al, they got to share the 2004 state championship game where Madonna played Wheeling Central down on the island.
If you knew Al, he was the kind of person who never liked recognition on himself. He always thought it should be for the kids, his students, anybody else, but he didn't like it. But I will have to say that he did go and receive the cross, and the only thing I could say about it was, after he read about exactly what it meant, he kind of felt proud because it was recognizing his faith, and he was able to share that faith with so many kids. And that's one of the things that I guess he enjoyed more than anything. He did a lot for Weirton. He did a lot for the community, for the Blue Dog Nation, for the St. Joseph students
It's
and
our way to
parents.
say thank you.
And it is. It's our way to say thank you to him.